In today's video, we will be reviewing the Nerf rival Forerunner. Let's get into it. Nice. Included with the blaster is 12 rival rounds. So the Nerf rival Forerunner is in the Rival Precision series, meaning that it has the new accurate rival rounds, which are blue. They usually come with adjustable sights, which this blaster does have one as well. And they also usually come with a hop-up unit, meaning that the balls spin when it comes out of the barrel. It also lets out some of the air when you shoot it, and so your rival rounds are going to tail fin less in a specific direction. Now, this blaster in this series is quite unique. It is the highest capacity non-magazine fed blaster in this series so far. It is also very similar to like a short sawed-off shotgun. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So let's go over the overview of the blaster. So, up front you have this barrel, as you can see under there. You can see the hop-up unit. It is white. I don't know if you can see it too well with the camera. But yeah, basically that will hit the dart, or in this case, the ball when it comes out of the barrel, and it will spin. And that spinning will make it so it doesn't tail fin in the air as much. As well, it has this really cool front sight, which is a neon green yellow-ish. Almost all of the blasters have an identical front sight, and they all look very cool. So I'm very glad they keep repeating that, because it does actually look kind of cool. Right here is the loading port. It comes with and loads 12 of these rival balls. It does work with the old rival balls, but I do prefer the blue ones. They're a lot easier to see, especially outside. And they also are slightly more accurate. Slightly, not by much, because Rival's already pretty accurate. But yeah, you prime it back. When you prime it back, you can load balls in there. You can load up to 12. It's an internal magazine. You prime it forward, and you can shoot. This is a pump-action blaster. It's also spring-powered. You prime it like that. Then you can press the trigger. There is no slam fire on this blaster, which really disappoints me because, honestly, for a precision blaster, you are going to mostly hold this from the hip, or at least somewhere in between, because holding it like this feels very uncomfortable. So I think this is the one precision blaster that should have the most unprecise of loading mechanisms, which is slam fire. But I digress. Front handle right here, that's how you prime it. It is very smooth forward and back. It has a very nice, comfortable handle. It has texture here and some ridges here, and it also has this ledge up here, so if you're priming back and your hands are sweaty or your hands are wet for whatever reason, you'll have an easier time priming this blaster. The Pathfinder, which is very, very similar to this blaster, if you guys want a review of the Pathfinder, let me know, also has this, but it's very slick here, and so I've primed the Pathfinder tons of times where I've done a successful prime back, but because there's no ledge here and the grip is very slippery, I've kind of like let my hand go forward and I kind of missed the reload or prime of a blaster. So this one having a front ledge, back ledge, and being textured is very nice for the play experience. Now you get to the gimmick of this series, which to me is not useful at all, because the gimmick doesn't work very well, and even if it did work well, you're using rival rounds, you're not using something as accurate as like airsoft or real firearms, so you're not going to have as much accuracy and the fun with the gimmick. Like, I used the gimmick a couple times since I've gotten it, and I've only really enjoyed it once. I just keep it at the same setting and where it doesn't change, because it is very sticky. But yeah, you can go, I'll show you this way. If you go all the way forward towards the end barrel of the blaster, it moves down. And if you move it the other way, it goes up. And so it's only elevation. It does not adjust for left and right. However, if I keep it in this position right over here near the end, and I prime the blaster, I don't know if you saw that, but it doesn't like to lock in. Especially when you shoot the blaster and the spring slams forward, it undoes your adjustment. Like, it does not want to stay still. So if you are buying this blaster specifically for this gimmick, don't get it, because the gimmick does not work at all or very well. But again, the base setting in the middle where it sticks the best in my opinion, is the best. This is where you're going to have not only the best performance and the best likability, like you'll like this in the center the most. It's most even, especially when you're holding it up and you're aiming. The top prongs match the green prong really well, and it is pretty accurate. So at least the base mode is the best. So yeah, gimmick out of the way. None of the gimmicks in any of the blasters really work well as well. The Pathfinder has the exact same issue, and this one's even worse because it's left and right and up and down. But I digress. There's a trigger safety. It is only on one side, not the other. In one way, it prevents you from pressing the trigger. It's an actual mechanical lock, so you cannot click it, but you can still prime the blaster. But until I turn it off the safety mode, I will not be able to shoot it. But yeah, there's a safety. Really no point with Nerf blasters, but having a safety might be useful for you, especially if you want to put this in a bin and you don't want to accidentally shoot the blaster if you keep it pre-primed. Never do that, by the way. Ruins your spring, but yeah, anyways, there is a safety. It's out of the way, so if you want it, you have it. If you don't want it, just leave it there and don't touch it, like I do. Then you have the grip, which feels pretty comfortable. I wouldn't say anything too uncomfortable about this blaster itself. Like, there's nothing wrong with it itself. The only problem I have with it is that there's no stock, and so when you try to, hold it up to aim, it feels kind of hard to hit what you're trying to hit, or to keep shots steady when you continuously shoot, because you shake the whole blaster and there's no shoulder that you can rest it on. Like, you can't really do this and aim in at the same time. So the gimmick in that way of it being a super accurate blaster is kind of hindered by the fact that you have nothing to stabilize it on. Like, this totally needs a stock, or at least a Nerf N-Strike stock attachment point. It does not. It has this weird ball, which I haven't seen in any of the other rival precision blasters, so I don't know why it has it. Yeah, but there's a sling mount right here. I don't think there's any more on this blaster, except you could probably use this as a sling because it looks pretty strong. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole blaster. There's only one more thing I think I should mention, which if you want to unjam the blaster, there is an unjamming button right here, which allows you to re-prime it, just in case there's a jam. I haven't jammed it yet. I've been using it for the past 3 to 4 days. As you saw in the intro clip, I was wearing a different shirt, and that's when I purchased the blaster. I've used it for a couple days, gotten comfortable with it, and I can definitely say there has been no jam so far, but if there is an unjamming button. So yeah, let me just load this blaster real quick. Fast forward. I accidentally loaded 2 in the first shot because I loaded too much. So I think that is 12. Anyways, I know you can't see where I'm shooting at. I'm just shooting at a blanket right next to me. I just want to show that. Yes, the blaster does work. Oh, jeez. Balls went everywhere. It all stayed in the blanket except the last, 4, which all trickled down the floor. But yeah, the blaster works quite well. As you can see, there's no jams or malfunctions. It's when I'm trying to use it. I would range test this, but I live in Canada. There's an extra foot of snow that snowed today, so I can't take this outside. As well, my indoor scene is not very long. I don't have a long range to shoot it. But it gets roughly rival range and accuracy. You are going to be... Shoot, I keep dropping this thing. You are going to get the average rival performance, which is roughly 90 to 100 FPS, which is very good and very solid for a Nerf brand blaster. So basically, all I'm saying is, the blaster is very cool. It works as advertised. You're not going to get jams or malfunctions with it. And if you're interested in the blaster in this line, this is totally one that I would get if you can get for a good price. Now, I bought mine at Walmart for $45 Canadian, which is quite a lot. It's very expensive. I also bought this blaster at Walmart, and this one cost me $50, which is very comparable to the Forerunner. And the only difference is this has a stock and an independent magazine, which can be interchangeable with the other ones, while this one doesn't have a stock and has an internal magazine, which might be perfect if you have a dump pouch or just, really anything where you can store rounds and just quickly load them in instead of more than one magazine. Because unloading, loading, and reloading is not as efficient as pumping, loading, shooting, pumping, loading, etc. So, if you like carrying a bunch of magazines on you, I would suggest you check out the Nerf Rival Pathfinder. It's identical in almost every way, except it uses a magazine, not an internal magazine. But if you see this blaster, see how much it holds, you know what it does, and you are interested in a blaster of this format. Personally, I would use this for HVZ or really long Nerf games where you'll be able to pick up rival rounds and load them back into your blaster that you find on the floor. Then yeah, I would totally recommend the Forerunner, and I really hope it's called the Forerunner. I have a horrible memory with rival names, and I'm going to feel super embarrassed by if by the end of this video I learned it's called the Forerunner or something stupid like that. But yeah. Check out the new Rival Precision line. All of the blasters so far in it are pretty cool. This one is one of my favorites for my personal use. I like having this feel of blaster, this sawed-off shotgun-like-esque blaster. But if you don't, then that's totally fine. There are other alternatives that are just as cool. This one is really cool because of the really long paddle for its magazine release. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this review. Tomorrow, I will be, if I can just reach it over here, I will be finishing my review of the Nerf Fortnite LP. And I will also be doing a review of the Fortnite Flint Knock pistol. It comes in a 2-pack. This blaster is very interesting because of the priming, and I'll get into that into the review. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed, please give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe, comment. I love reading comments, and you guys have a fantastic day.